I want to explain how we manage asset custody here, specifically through our integration with Fireblocks. When you hold assets with us, you're assigned individual Fireblocks vaults with separate wallet addresses for each asset. For example, if you hold both XRP and Bitcoin, you'll have distinct wallet addresses for each one, for XRP and one for Bitcoin. These wallets are securely stored in cold storage environments. Importantly, we don't charge clients for custody. We also don't engage in any lending, staking, or yield-generating services with your assets. They simply remain securely stored until you choose to trade or withdraw them. This offers peace of mind. Your holdings remain untouched, much like if you were storing them on your own hardware wallet, except at an institutional scale. Now, when it comes to executing a trade, the system uses multi-party computation, MPC. This setup requires transaction approvals from 3 separate entities, including you as the client, before anything can go through. That means there is no single point of failure. Plus, the wallet's private key is broken up into secure fragments, adding an extra layer of security. It's an enterprise-grade solution designed for those who value maximum protection. Of course, if you already use a hardware wallet, there's no problem withdrawing your assets at any time. You can even choose to use our custody system purely as a trading layer. It's all about what suits you best. To make it simple, I set up a direct link for you. Just head over to xrpwealth589.com. The URL will forward straight to my Caleb and Brown page. Once you're there, just click Sign Up Today to get started. Super easy. Right now, we're sitting at about 313 XRP, ticking up a bit after the recent market dip. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP all bounced back after their overnight losses. Interestingly, analysts are saying that pressure on the Federal Reserve is actually reinforcing its credibility, adding fuel to the long-term bullish outlook. And while just yesterday, CoinDesk claimed that altcoin season might be over, well, we'll see about that. Honestly, they can't seem to make up their minds. Just yesterday, B.O. Hans dropped a piece titled Strengthening American Leadership in Financial Technology. And get this, if you told me a year ago that we'd be seeing what we're seeing now, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, just look at this. We've got a pro-crypto president, clear as day. It doesn't get more bullish than that. The White House just officially released a report, and it's not just lip service. The Treasury is stepping in, establishing a new office to manage and oversee custodial accounts tied to the national crypto stockpile. Yeah, you heard that right. There will be a reserve, and it'll be under the direct administration of the U.S. Treasury. Now listen up, folks. This is important. This comes straight from B.O. Hans, and there's a dirty little secret you're not supposed to notice. While outlets like CoinDesk are trying to steer the conversation toward the Bitcoin reserve, what they're not telling you is this. The real play is the national stockpile. That's the real game changer. And these insiders? Oh, they know it. But at the same time, they've got to keep the Bitcoin maxi crowd happy, so they toss them a few bones. Let me be clear. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Our goal is to accumulate as much as we possibly can. The SB, our executive order, lays out some budget-neutral strategies to do just that. But beyond that, the national stockpile brings real legitimacy to non-Bitcoin ecosystems, especially those with utility. As the president likes to say, we've got some very smart people in this administration focused on this. We're going to act quickly and strategically. I think folks are going to be very satisfied with how this all unfolds. But it's not just about stacking tokens. It's about building the infrastructure behind it. The Treasury Department is all over this, putting the systems in place so we can move forward securely and efficiently. Now, check this out. This is something I wanted to share. I think Brad Combs absolutely nailed it here. This is how the U.S. becomes the global crypto leader. The U.S. Treasury will issue bonds open to domestic and international players. That lets the government acquire crypto assets without taxing the people and while still earning yield. And those assets, they go straight into the National Reserve under Treasury control. That makes the United States the biggest holder, especially of utility-based assets like XRP. And there you have it. The writing is on the wall. Let me make this crystal clear. the U.S. federal government will never issue a stablecoin. There's zero interest in crossing the line into CBDC territory. The president already signed an executive order banning CBDCs, and Chairman Powell has stated not once, not twice, but 3 separate times that implementing a CBDC would require action from Congress. It's not happening. And look, this is where genius comes into play. I've said it again and again. What genius is doing effectively eliminates any future for a central bank digital currency. Why on earth would anyone want a government-controlled stablecoin when you have access to private solutions that are faster, smarter, and more secure? We don't want Big Brother watching every transaction. That's not how America rolls, and we feel strongly that a CBDC has no place in a free society. Now here's what's fascinating. Private companies like Ripple are rolling out their own stablecoins. And that makes you wonder, what else is technically private? The Federal Reserve. This isn't a coincidence. Let's call it what it is. Crypto is Federal Reserve 2.0, but better. These aren't government-run tokens. These are private for-profit networks, just like the Fed was originally set up to be. I studied this stuff in college. It's all coming full circle. And let's talk about Bitcoin for a second, because here's the truth. Bitcoin is in a class of its own, a legacy asset with no utility in the real-world financial system that's being built. The future is utility XRP, Cardano, Solana, SUI, ONDO. That's where the infrastructure is going. Now, some people keep asking about a potential Bitcoin strategic reserve. Well, it's already been established through the SPR executive order. But right alongside that, we've got the National Crypto Stockpile, and that's the real deal. Even when officials are asked directly about Bitcoin, notice how they always pivot right back to the stockpile. Why? Because they know it's the more important of the two. It has to be. You can't build a global financial system on a network with no smart contracts, no utility, no flexibility. Bitcoin is a digital dinosaur. Building this new system isn't just about flipping a switch. It takes real work infrastructure, compliance, custody protocols, you name it, but it's coming together. And it's going to be massive. Oh, and in case you missed it, yes, the White House is literally running promos now, pushing this idea of America becoming the global crypto superpower. Here's a quick summary of what's in that latest report. Empower the SEC to use its existing authority to go after bad actors. Confirm the CFTC's oversight of spot crypto markets. Ensure crypto consumers are properly protected through disclosure. Defend the right of Americans to self-custody without banks. Keep crypto devs from being treated like traditional banks. Direct agencies to secure private keys from seized crypto. Prioritize user privacy, support DeFi innovation in a safe and responsible way. Make sure the U.S. leads the global crypto standards conversation. Encourage agencies to adopt and use blockchain technology. So things are moving fast, and smart money knows where it's headed. That little summary? Yeah, that's their official breakdown. Basically a neat little package to make everything sound clean, safe, and inevitable. Now this next piece, it's basically another commercial. And that's exactly why I wanted to highlight it. Because what it really shows is this. We're already in the crypto era. This isn't speculation anymore. It's not someday. It's happening right now. The federal government is literally producing promotional content to position the U.S. as the leader in the global crypto economy. They're not just dipping a toe in. They're going all in. From regulatory frameworks to strategic reserves, private sector partnerships, and infrastructure development. They're laying the groundwork for what's coming. And if you're paying attention, you can see it all unfolding in real time. It's happening, and fast. Stuart Alderoty said it best. Comprehensive, helpful, and direct. This afternoon, the White House dropped a bombshell, 160-page report, urging Congress and federal agencies to act now following the passage of the Genius Act. The report calls for immediate progress, from supporting the Clarity Act to locking in rules for crypto market structure, boosting consumer protections, and ramping up national security protocols for digital assets. There's a lot packed into those 160 pages. The one thing is crystal clear. This is the most pro-crypto administration in U.S. history. They're not just acknowledging crypto anymore. They're building policy around it. Now, let's talk about our old pal Joseph Lubin. His arrogance? Yeah, it's made a quick comeback. They asked him whether Ethereum might be dethroned, and the irony in his answer is incredible. What he described, unintentionally, is exactly what I've been saying all along. This whole thing has been one big VK-backed pump machine. That's how Ethereum, Bitcoin, and recently, Solana got to where they are. Propped up by VCS, pushed by PR, and promoted by pundits who are on the VC payroll. Honestly, I'd say 95% of the crypto influencers you see out there are part of that same ecosystem. For the last decade, we haven't had a real market. We've had a rigged system where Bitcoin and Ethereum got regulatory immunity, while Ripple and XRP were held back by coordinated enforcement. That unfair advantage ends soon, and when it does, it's going to be very interesting to see how confident Lubin is when XRP passes Ethereum. He talks about how Ethereum killers start off with big ideas and passionate founders, then get supercharged by VCS who want to blow up a protocol and cash out. Know why he knows the playbook so well? Because that's exactly how Ethereum launched. And don't forget, many of those early Ethereum whales are still hidden. And I believe a lot of them are VCS. They got in early and sold off to retail, plain and simple. The media played along, hyping up fake narratives about Ethereum's death, Bitcoin's death, clickbait all day. And who were the loudest defenders? The same crew behind ETHgate, Joseph Lubin and Andrew Keys. If you remember, it was Charles Gasparino who dropped the bombshell years ago that these guys were coordinating with the SEC and CFTC behind the scenes. Now here comes Andrew Keys again, bragging that there are $250 billion in liquid assets like stablecoins, tokenized gold, and derivatives on-chain, and 90% of them are on Ethereum. Solana? That's next at 9%. Yeah, that VC engine kicked in late for Solana, but don't be fooled. They're all playing the same game, pretending their dominance came from merit, when really, it came from regulatory capture and manufactured market advantage. Let me say it again. You've never seen the real market. You can't see the real market until there's a level playing field. And now, that's finally coming. Just like Ryan Zagone from Ripple said years ago, when it's fair, the tech that delivers real value will rise. I believe Cardano, like Charles Hoskinson says, eventually overtakes Ethereum. It's just logic. Liquidity will follow scalability and speed, and Ethereum isn't built for either. Now let's shift gears. We're heading over to xrp.com. You're not going to believe who's showing up at Ripple Swell this year. There's so much more coming. If you want to support the channel, you can. Join the YouTube community by hitting the join button below or click subscribe over on X. And remember, I'm the investor. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment and education. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and as always, take care of your family. Here we go.